A lovely evening and thank you for joining us. This is Times News. You're with me, Edita Soko. First, the headlines. Minister of Finance Felix Mlusu says government is to finance ADMAC with 95 billion kwacha for the purchase of agricultural produce. President Lazarus Chakwera orders Ministry of Health to ensure the COVID-19 vaccine is in the country by the end of August. And stakeholders to roll out an online system to authenticate and verify travelers' COVID-19 certificates. We have these and other stories. Just stay with us. And our first news item tonight, Minister of Finance Felix Mlusu has told Parliament that government has made arrangements to finance ADMAC with 95 billion kwacha for the purchase of maize and other crops from farmers subject to the passing of the budget. This is despite reports of mismanagement of funds at the corporation. Mlusu says ADMAC is the only reliable market for smallholder farmers.
As government, we are capacitating ADMAC to have capacity to buy produce from the farmers. ADMAC should be the main market of all our farmers and should also be the last resort market. If they cannot find a market anywhere else, they must find market at ADMAC. So we are making sure that ADMAC has enough resources. And we have allocated 95 billion kwacha for ADMAC to buy produce out there from our farmers.
Meanwhile, the minister has adjusted the 2021 to 2022 national budget with 5.5 billion kwacha in response to suggestions and recommendations that several clusters made during the scrutiny of the budget. This translates to the total budget to 1.995 trillion kwacha from 1.990 trillion kwacha presented earlier. Now, President Lazarus Chakwera has ordered the Ministry of Health to use all means possible to bring into the country COVID-19 vaccine by the end of August so that people can get their second dose. Chakwera made the remarks on Tuesday in Liwonde when he launched a malaria campaign which is aimed at ending malaria by 2030. Johannes Simon has filed this report. The president said he is aware that a lot of people are anxious to know when they will get their second dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. He said the coming of the third wave in other countries, as well as the dependence on free vaccines from other countries, has exposed Malawi greatly. The president therefore ordered the Minister of Health to quickly engage partners to make sure that the vaccine is available in the country by August. Commenting on malaria, Chakwera calls for close collaboration among partners as a way of achieving the goal of eliminating malaria by the year 2030. The president says government spends about 19 billion kwacha every year to treat malaria in public hospitals, such that eliminating malaria can help save the government's money. He also explained that eliminating malaria can also help tourism in the country because there are some tourists who fail to come to Malawi because they fear malaria. Chakwera has since called on civic leaders such as chiefs to help in encouraging people to adopt malaria preventive measures in the country. Annually, 6 million people suffer from malaria in Malawi. Over 2,500 die each year as a result of malaria in the country. The disease is more severe in rural areas where adherence to malaria preventive measures is limited. Meanwhile, Monica Batista, who is the country team leader for the USA's President's Malaria Initiative, says her government has provided Malawi with $270 million for the malaria fight in the recent past. She, however, urged Malawi to increase its allocation, personnel, as well as health centers that can help fight malaria. And in a related development, the Ministry of Health, in collaboration with the African Union and Africa Center for Disease Control, CDC, has rolled out an online system to authenticate and verify travelers' COVID-19 certificates. Secretary for Health Charles Mwansambo said this is in line with the internationally recognized Trusted Travel Framework. Wezi Gausi has a report.
Mwansambo says they will ensure that results issued by the laboratory have trusted travel codes that can be verified by airlines and port health authorities. He says travelers are required to first visit the authorized laboratory to have their certificates verified. Mwansambo says from July 1st, 2021, no traveller would depart from Malawi without verification of their certificates using the prescribed process. Executive Director for Malawi Health Equity Network, Mehin George Jobe, describes the verification exercise as a welcome development.
One of the areas that were stated as a challenge is to verify the certificates that are coming from outside the country, whether they are authentic or not.
Malawi has started experiencing an upsurge of COVID-19 cases, which has forced government to restrict entry into the country.
Now, the Magistrates Court in Lilongwe has charged 4 directors of the the Minister of Economic Planning, Development and Public Sector Reforms, Vice President Saulos Chilima, says the government is aware of economic challenges facing the country. Chilima was speaking in Parliament when he appeared to respond to members' questions. Audrey Gabalamula has this report.
Chilima stood in the chamber for about 45 minutes explaining to Parliament that the public sector reforms are on track. The Vice President says 136 stakeholders in the public sector, including councils, ministries and state-owned enterprises, are the ones implementing the reforms. He has told the House that so far there is a commendable progress.
However, it was noted that the ailing state enterprise or state-owned enterprises that drew and are implementing business turnaround strategies as a reform process are making steady progress towards the intended desired outcomes. For example, Madam Speaker, to mention a few, ESCOM, ADMAC, Blantyre Water Board, the Malawi Housing Corporation.
He added that reforms being implemented are speaking to the key priority areas of creation of jobs, wealth and food security, as well as Malawi 2063 agenda. Leader of opposition Kwagwanji Nkhani requested Chilima to state interventions being made to cushion the impact of devaluation of kwacha, rising in domestic debts and cost of commodities. Chilima says government is making efforts through National Planning Commission, Ministry of Finance and the Central Bank to deal with the challenges. Adds that in some circumstances, government would have to make painful decisions to deal with the challenges. This is the second time Chilima has appeared before the August House to answer the questions in his capacity as a minister.
Audrey Gabalamula with that report. Now, the Magistrates Court in Lilongwe has charged 4 directors of the Foundation for Irrigation and Sustainable Development (FISD) and an employee in the Ministry of Agriculture with multiple counts related to fraud. Moses Chirambo, Frank Mwenechanya, Kondorina Mchukwa, Arthur Mpama and Daud Gaunda are suspected to have conspired to defraud government money amounting to almost 240 million kwacha in the year 2018. They have been charged with theft, money laundering, obtaining money through false pretense, and conspiracy to commit a felony, but have denied the charges. Defense lawyer Gift Nkhani said he is ready to enter defense, but is worried that the state had taken long to bring to court disclosures.
We are at least happy that they've been charged, and then we have a date that trial will commence. But I'm still worried that the disclosure that have been served, the disclosure that the state had all along. So when they said that they were waiting to conclude, I'm surprised because the dates on the documents, the date way back. But since the matter is in court, I don't want to say too much. On our part, we are ready. On the 16th and 17th, we will come and we will defend our rights accordingly.
And still in the courts, the Magistrates Court in Lilongwe has found former Cabinet Minister Henry Musa and former Director of Information Gideon Muntali with a case to answer, in a case in which they are being accused of having stolen government's computers and a generator worth over 10 million kwacha. Chief Resident Magistrate Patrick Chirwa says the state had proved to the court that the two have a case to answer. Matthews Kasanda with the story.
The two appeared before Chief Resident Magistrate Patrick Chirwa, who said the state has proved to the court that the two have a case to answer. 70-year-old Musa is answering 2 counts: conspiracy to commit a felony and receiving stolen property, while Muntali's counts are theft and conspiracy to commit a felony. The property was a donation from the Malawi Communications Regulatory Authority to the Ministry of Information by then Musa was the minister responsible. On conspiracy, both the accused are suspected that between May and June 2019 in Nilongwe, they conspired to commit the crime. The former minister is suspected to have received and returned the 10 computers and the generator. Montari, aged 45, is suspected to have received or had in custody the property in question without producing to the employer the same or make due account. Musa's lawyer Gilbert Kunyongwa says the defense is ready to proceed with the case.
The accused person has always been prepared. He's presented his side of the story, so I'm sure that he will be able to testify and let the court know his side of the story.
The matter has since been adjourned to July 26 this year. The two were arrested in September last year before being granted bail.
Mzuzu City Council, MCC, has said it will spend 36 million kwacha to install solar-powered streetlights along the Otonchirwa Avenue dual carriageway, an exercise which started last week. The project draws its funds from Roads Fund Administration under the Road Rehabilitation Program. Josephine Chibofia has filed this report, which has been read by Patience Lunda.
Mzuzu City Council Public Relations Officer McDonald Gondwe says though the solar streetlights are expensive to procure, they are sustainable and easy to manage as compared to the electric powered lights. Gondwe adds that the solar energy will also contribute to government's green energy initiative aimed at fighting against climate change. He says apart from uplifting the face of the city at night, security for the residents would be enhanced.
But for quite some time, it hasn't been sustainable to the part of the council. That's why we opted that we migrate from hydro-powered electricity to solar-powered electricity. For the key reasons being solar-powered electricity, they are sustainable and manageable.
Weighing in on the development, Peter Mumba, a social commentator, welcomed the initiative, saying it is sustainable but urged Mzuzu residents to take a role in paying city rates to spur development for the city. Meanwhile, the council is expected to connect solar streetlights to a stretch of roads covering 20 kilometers, which will be implemented in phases. Combined, Mzuzu City Council has about 300 kilometers of road network. Mzuzu City Council is the second council to use solar energy streetlights after Zomba City Council.
This is Times News. We'll be back with more shortly.
If there's one thing that all soaps do, it's wash. From buckets to basins, bathrooms to streams, and everything in between.
All soaps wash.
Yes, but Protex is different. Its reinvented formula with flaxseed oil boosts your skin's natural anti-germ defenses by 10 times more, protecting you against 99.9% of germs. So what keeps us healthy?
Protex!
Good health starts here.
Do your gums hurt? Yeah. Does your toothpaste contain sage, eucalyptus, myrrh, chamomile? All that in one toothpaste? Yes, try Colgate Herbal. Colgate Herbal contains nature's best herbs and Colgate's fluoride technology to give you strong teeth and healthy gums. Ah, Colgate Herbal. Let's go. Colgate Herbal for strong teeth and healthy gums naturally.
This marriage is a punishment for you, and you are going to be suffering for the rest of your life.
I thought you'd married some supermodel. Look.
Nalero, alipitireni GoTV Mosavuta. Just dial *247# to pay your GoTV or DSTV subscription. Standard Bank. It can be.
Welcome back. Apostle Clifford Kawinga of Salvation for All Ministries has challenged religious leaders to develop the heart of giving to the vulnerable and not just focusing on receiving from the people they lead. Kawinga was speaking when he held crusades in Zomba over the weekend. Jameson Chaluka reports.
Apostle Clifford Kawinga of Salvation for All Ministries International donated 2,500 blankets to the less privileged people in Zomba over the weekend. Speaking during the crusades, Kawinga said religious leaders should not focus on receiving from their sheep, saying this is tantamount to theft. He said the three-dimensional leadership of saving life, body and soul practiced by Jesus entails that religious leaders should provide both for physical and spiritual needs of their followers.
I believe that the blessings of God is upon, it's a promise for each and every saint, including the leaders. We always make mistakes in the church that we tell the followers that they should give and they shall be blessed. We exclude ourselves. But in the true sense, the blessings of God are supposed to come to all of us. In this regard, it's our responsibility as the leader to demonstrate and motivate the leaders. The spirit of giving has to come or has to start with the leaders, which we are, the pastors, the evangelists, the prophets, and any other leaders in the fivefold ministry.
Apostle Kawinga was led to the areas of Sub-Traditional Authority Mwambere and Jimbalanga, where the crusades took place by Deputy Presidential Advisor on Religious Affairs, Hashim Abbas. Abbas hailed the apostle and the ministry for the gesture, saying he will be taking them to other parts of the country as well.
And the Deputy Director of Gender Affairs, Alice Mkandawire, says there is need for coordination among all service providers working towards combating gender-based violence. She was speaking on Monday during the opening of a 5-day training for gender-based violence service providers at Mponela. Rebecca Jimjeka has compiled this report read by Blessings Mpinganjira.
Mkandawire said the training is very important because most of the survivors do not have readily available services, as most of the service providers do not have the skills and knowledge to do so.
All the players need to know their role. So definitely coordination is supposed to take center stage, and the coordinator being the ministry. We need to put together our app, reach out to all the service providers coordinating so that they are able to do their role, each one of them appropriately.
Program Coordinator for Concern Worldwide, Madalitso Montali, said the training was aimed at improving service delivery among players in gender-based violence fight.
Yeah, the objective is to ensure, because before this training we conducted a survey where we wanted to understand how are the system working for someone to access services within the different sectors of the government.
Ministry of Gender, Social Affairs and Community Development, with funding from Concern Worldwide, organized the training for the police, health ministry, the judiciary, and also community leaders to boost their knowledge on sex and gender-based violence.
Well, that's the news tonight, but before we go, the headlines again. Minister of Finance Felix Mlusu says government is to finance ADMAC with 95 billion kwacha for the purchase of agricultural produce. President Lazarus Chakwera orders Ministry of Health to ensure the COVID-19 vaccine is in the country by the end of August, and stakeholders to roll out an online system to authenticate and verify travelers' COVID-19 certificates. Remember, you can get more on these and other stories by visiting our website www.times.mw, liking our Facebook page Times 360 Malawi, and following us on Twitter at Times 360 Malawi. Remember to wash your hands regularly, observe social and physical distance, and mask up. Please stay safe. You've been with me, Elita Soko.
Hi, little one. What seems to be the matter? I know just what you need. Me! I'm Classic Milk, your instant milk powder. Perfect for breakfast, tea time, or evening time. Whether you're working hard in the office or just relaxing at home. And I'm suitable for tea, coffee, or an instant milk drink for kids just like you. Yes! That's exactly how I make you feel.
Classic instant milk from Rab Processors. Full cream milk powder for the whole family.
Define your surroundings with the color of your choice. Make it warm, creative, friendly, and vibrant. Coat textures, durable color options, with up to 1,200 color shades to choose from. Be it economy range or premium range paints, innovative paint and color technology in every drop. Available in Blantyre, Build Africa, and Limby Corner Mart Building, and in Lilongwe along M12 Road close to Gateway Mall. Tropical Paints, your world in color.
The summer of soccer is here, and becoming the Premier Bet Soccer Hero is all about making the right selections. It's time to trust your natural instincts, to believe in yourself, be brave. Because there's the Premier Bet jackpot of $100,000 for the taking. So navigate